Hey Masters, if you know me and you've been listening to my podcast, you know health and nutrition is number one. Check out AdvoCare products. I am a distributor. Go to livelongersmarter.com. We got everything you could imagine for your health and nutrition goals. If you're interested, at the end of the podcast, at the very end, there'll be more information on the products. Also, LandVoice is one of our sponsors. They have amazing services. If you need leads, please check out LandVoice for FSBO, expired, circle prospecting, a dialer, whatever you need. Go to davidihill.com. Affiliates, you can click the LandVoice link and all of the special opportunities will be there.
Get ready for one more sale, inspiring you with ideas through powerful and engaging interviews with top performers of their field. Now, join us as we discuss techniques and strategies of the coolest and most successful people on the planet.
It's probably the same problem that you would imagine. And it's a simple one, but that doesn't mean it's an easy one. It's people not time blocking and being purposeful about their prospecting. It's one of those things where a lot of organizations fall into the trap of wanting to prospect and knowing that they should prospect, and then sitting down to do their prospecting time and then doing some emails and going on Facebook and checking the sports scores, not sitting down and hitting the phones with purpose.
Hey Masters, welcome to another episode of Path to Mastery. And this week we have Sam Monreal with us, who is a master at converting and incubating online leads, guys. And he talks to us today not just about the process of converting the leads and what it takes to be successful, but the difference between lead generation and lead follow-up, which is really, really cool. And guys, I love how he talks to us about our mindset. We're shifting our mindset from the bothering of people, like, cold calling or following up on leads is bothering, to creating an opportunity. We're there to help. And it really got me thinking. And here's the thing, years ago, I found a way that I could shift in my mindset, because we all know pain and pleasure, right? The pain is a greater motivator than pleasure, right? We're going to fight harder to avoid pain than we will to seek pleasure. We all know that. In my mind, years ago, I realized that the pain of somebody else being with the wrong real estate agent was much greater than the pain of me potentially bothering somebody. Does that make sense? So listen, I'm really, really concerned. I do not want this person to end up with the wrong agent. I'm more concerned about that than me maybe interrupting them. So figure out a way, my friends, to try to make that shift. Listen, Sam gives us some great tools. He talks to us about how, again, to be successful, getting people while they're still online, pattern interrupts, using great scripts. And you know what? He gives us some real solid meat and potatoes in this one. He gives us some good scripts and some stuff that you can start working on right away. So, hey guys, great interview. Enjoy it. And last thing I want to say, I'm in real estate. I want to remind you, Central Massachusetts. If you look at the picture of Mass, the map, the state, we're in the center. So, anybody looking to move into that area, we'd love to talk to them, and we'll give you a referral, and we'll take outstanding care of your client. Guys, thank you. Again, appreciate you listening. If you could share it with someone, just helps us. If you could give us a review on iTunes, man, that would be so awesome. And I hope to see you soon. You rock. Hey Masters, David Hill here with another episode for you. And we have our friend Sam Monreal today. Sam and I have tried this a couple times now. Just one of them things. We haven't been able to connect, and Sam is a really talented guy. And then we did finally connect, and I had to get new software. And anyway, Sam, good to have you on the show finally, and let's see if we can get through this interview.
Super excited, David. Hey, it will take two.
Yeah. So, Sam, you own Sam Monreal Coaching Consulting. You help people with prospecting, lead generation, help them develop inside sales teams, You've also helped some of the top teams. Some teams, get up in 80 plus million in volume just through your prospecting services.
Yeah, I came from working on an actual high-producing Keller Williams real estate team. And in the time that I was there as the director of sales and marketing, we got up into about 85 million in production my last year that I was there, and which also landed us on the Inc. 5000 fastest growing companies in the U.S., which is not just in real estate, but all company types. So that was pretty exciting.
That's awesome, man. So your company, tell us a little bit about what you guys do, just for people, for our listeners.
Yeah, so we have a real estate coaching practice, and we work with team owners just like many of your listeners that are struggling to crack the code on how to really lead generate and really prospect and convert leads in a phone-based way, not only by leveraging the activities that we know deliver results, like picking up the phone and making calls, but also the combination of the right tools and technologies and metrics and expectations to hold the right hires accountable. So it really is a very deep look at kind of the top of your funnel as a real estate organization, and how are you keeping that lead funnel full and the pipeline growing to support the eventual business goals that you want to have as an organization. And one of the things that I always say is, it's a math equation. You can't have the output if you don't have the inputs. And as we all know in real estate, it's the leads. It's what's coming in the front door is really what's ultimately going to end up being deals that we can close and get across the finish line.
So you said in the beginning, help people with lead generation and prospecting. So what is the difference between those two?
Well, I like to make a distinction between lead generation and prospecting, because lead generation in many people's minds in real estate is buying leads, because that is one form of lead generation. Prospecting, in my mind, is a very proactive approach to lead generation. So prospecting, in the more traditional sense, picking up the phone, making calls, calling expireds, FSBOs, circle prospecting, but also doing other activities like door knocking. Door knocking is a very productive prospecting activity. So those types of things that are much more proactive rather than reactive.
I know we're both I'm a Keller Williams agent. That's what we talk about when we say lead generation, like your first 3 hours of the day, Sam, or lead generation, which we say is picking up the phone, right? Door knocking, calling expireds, whatever, sphere of influence. And you're saying it's prospecting. So what do you define as lead generation then?
Lead generation is kind of gotten to be a bit of a muddy term in the real estate industry. When, for a lot of people, when they want their agents to sit down and do their lead generation time, what they're actually doing is converting nurtures or converting existing leads in the system. So I do like to make a distinction about creating new leads within the system through outbound prospecting activities, and then trying to convert leads that are already in the system. I think I make that distinction just because I think some people use the term lead generation and lead conversion interchangeably, and I don't.
Okay, that makes sense. So in your mind, lead generation is going after, just so we're all clear, it's only new leads, like people you haven't spoke with before, and lead conversion would be like follow up. And that is that accurate? Am I right on that? Or
that's completely accurate. Yeah. So lead generation in its truest form is about adding someone to the system who wasn't in the system before. We're creating a new lead in the system.
I love that. And this is for you, my listeners out there. You just heard it. It's not follow up. It's not Facebook. It's not any of that stuff. It's adding new people to the system. Thank you, Sam, for that.
Of course, my pleasure.
So, some people think like what you guys do is help us generate leads, like your ISAs. You go in, you fill up our Boomtown accounts or whatever. But it doesn't sound like that's what you're doing. Or is that part of it, but you're also coaching? Tell us about your company. Like, what do you guys do? Why would we hire you?
Just to clearly make the distinction here, I actually have two companies. One is my coaching and consulting practice, and then another company I'm a partner in is a company called Rockerbox. And Rockerbox is a lead conversion call center, basically. We've got a team here in Texas. Now it's about 35 people of ISAs, where basically what we do is we convert Boomtown leads or leads within the Boomtown platform. So, for instance, a Boomtown platform owner generates X hundred number of leads within their Boomtown platform, and their agents aren't effectively working them because they're not doing the strategies that convert online leads at the highest level, like calling them within 5 minutes or calling them 10 more times sending them 4 text messages, sending them 4 emails, doing all of the long-term follow-up with leads that are more than 90 days out. So, in addition to actually working with teams and building their own in-house ISA and lead generation and prospecting organizations, I do also have, this call center that is in the business of working internet leads at a really high level to, again, really...
Okay, so let me stop. So that's Rockerbox, right? Rockerbox, so they will generate leads for you, a follow up on the leads, right?
Right.
And I do want to go back though to what you mentioned. You said you had said we don't follow up in 5 minutes. We don't follow up after 90 days. So why aren't we doing that stuff, Sam?
I think, and this is actually something that has become a real big issue for me in my mind. And one of the things that I talk a lot about with other leaders in the industry is a lot of people talk about a real estate bubble in terms of maybe the market being oversold or actually thinking about things in terms of property pricing. But what I've actually found is we're experiencing a totally different kind of bubble in real estate right now. And it's an online leads bubble. So we as an industry are actually only selling about 5 million homes per year across the United States. But we're generating somewhere in the neighborhood of 125 million online real estate leads every year. So it doesn't take a mathematician to understand that there's a big disconnect between 5 million and 125 million. And so what we found, David, is that a lot of agents and a lot of real estate teams, as it comes to online leads, have gotten into what we are calling a phase of lead fatigue. They have to do so much work to identify the real buyers and sellers, which really amount to about 2 to 3% of the actual leads that you're getting every single month. There's so much work to be done up front to identify those real buyers and sellers that a lot of the agents just kind of start to look at the online leads as a burden instead of an opportunity.
Yeah, because
that makes sense.
It does make a ton of sense. And even the 2 to 3% that we convert, those are the ones that you need to follow up within 5 minutes, right?
Right.
And follow up after 90 days and all that other stuff, and follow up 10 times and whatever these days of pain things, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Absolutely. Because you have to think about it from the leads perspective. If 125 million leads are being generated to only sell 5 million homes, well, that means that lead that entered into your CRM is probably in 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 other people's CRMs. And so we have to work twice as hard to rise above the noise, to really stand out. And one of the most important things, I believe, is really meet people in their emotional state. So one of the things that Diana Kokoska always says is that when people make decisions because they're either moving away from pain or towards pleasure, well, it's the same thing that's going on when a lead goes online to register for more information about homes for sale. They've got a problem in their lives that they're trying to solve. And if you can actually reach that person while they're basically still on your site searching for homes, while they're still within that emotional state of mind, you're far more likely to engage them in a dialogue. You're far more likely to engage them as a prospect and show them that you're a resource that can help them actually achieve their real estate goals. So one of the things that's nearly impossible for a real estate agent to meet is that 5-minute standard, because it's very difficult if you're in the middle of a closing or in the middle of a intense negotiation or meeting a client face-to-face to step out and call every single lead within 5 minutes. That's why, our clients defer to us to do that activity on their behalf, because we're open 80 hours a week, 7 days a week, for that sheer purpose of being able to call everybody within 5 minutes.
So I want to talk to you about that in a minute and make sure we get back to that. I just wanted to make a comment on what you said about the online bubble, because, I've just never heard anybody say that. And it's so true. And it's not even just that, Sam, but just the sheer amount of people that are calling these for sale by owners and these expireds now and circle prospecting neighborhoods. It's nuts, my friend. It's
right.
And I started doing this 12 years ago. It was me and a handful of other agents. I always knew the other agents that would call the expireds or the FSBOs, because it'd be Joy. There'd be a couple other agents that always would see their cards. Now we have call centers. We have this. We have that. And something you said, like, how do we stand out? I mean, how do we stand above all that noise? Because it's not just an online bubble. I mean, it's like a prospecting bubble.
Yeah, and I think it absolutely is something where we've seen more and more and more people get into the business of prospecting expireds, FSBOs. And David, I believe you're up in kind of the Boston area, right?
Yeah, we're outside of Boston, exactly.
Right, and so you, like most markets in the country, have probably been experiencing pretty good market for the past 8-9 years. One of the things that is tough is you've got more and more people having success, so they do these hardcore prospecting strategies like calling expireds and FSBOs and circle prospect. And they're prospecting to a smaller and tighter number of folks because there's just not that many expireds, not that many FSBOs on the market. So, you've got everybody going after the same fish in a smaller pond. Well, it's almost the same thing with online real estate leads. You have 10 times as many fishermen, but there's not that many more fish in the same size pond. Mm. And so it is something where I still truly believe that prospecting is the fastest way to grow a real estate business. So many people have such a hard time picking up that phone that, it looks like it weighs 500 pounds some days, right? That I would say that it's probably better to be prospecting based than any other strategy that I've seen work for real estate teams on the market right now.
Yeah, and I agree with you 100%. I mean, I built my business on prospecting. I wrote a book on prospecting. I think the keynote now is you just really have to stand out. We have to be different. I consider myself really good on the phone, and I don't take things personal, and that's part of it. I had somebody say to me a couple of weeks ago, you real estate agents are like, I'm not even going to say the word. I mean, and all I did was call and just say, hey, did I catch you at a bad time? He says, this is another real estate agent. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's just the sheer amount of people that are calling. So how is that just the anomaly? I mean, it could be. But how do you stand out over all that?
Me personally, whenever somebody used to say that to me, they're like, oh, you're the fifth real estate agent that's called me. Why are you guys bothering me? I would usually say something along the lines of, you know what, Mr. Jones, you're right. Most real estate agents are terrible. And obviously, I don't really feel that about my compadres in the industry. But it was, what we call in neurolinguistic programming, a pattern interruption.
Got it, yeah.
It was something that was like, whoa, it's something they weren't expecting to hear. Then I would go into a little explanation of why I said that. Mr. Jones, have you ever heard of the 80-20 principle? Well, in real estate, it's actually more like the 90-10 principle. We find that only about 10% of the real estate professionals in our market do about 90% of the transactions. So the reason that I'm actually calling you is because when you are ready to get your home back on the market, I would hate for you to make a weak decision and go with a weak agent in a time where you're just trying to get something to happen fast. So really the reason that I'm calling you is not to bother you. It's to make sure that you're equipped with the information about how a really, really high producing team operates so you can get the best deal whenever you do decide to sell your home. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Love it, my friend. Love it. And that's good. That's good stuff.
And so, the thing is, he may still hang up on you. He may still call you a bunch of bad names or whatever, but at least you planted a seed in his head. You've given him something to think about and to remind him that, and really this is my whole thing with prospecting, and I know this is absolutely the way that you look at it, David, is we have to get over this idea in our industry that we're bothering people and remember that we're helping people. Now, it's tough because we're not going to be able to help as many people as we talk to on a day-to-day basis. Yeah. Some people will actually feel bothered, but the ones that we do talk to, that we can do something for, we're absolutely changing those people's lives. We're providing them with a service that transforms their reality, whether it's by buying a home or selling a home. Such a massive undertaking for most people. And so I think that it's a bit of a mind shift that I really dove into a couple of years ago, and it really changed the way that I feel whenever I pick up the phone.
Yeah, I love that. And, same thing. I mean, you nailed it. And for me, I'm not going to take that personal. I know that guy was just having a bad day. I don't know if I responded as eloquently as you did. I said, wow, that seems, I said, that seems kind of extreme. You sound like you're pretty frustrated, right? And he's like, yeah, just, take. and ended up hanging up. So I tried a different pattern interrupt with him. It didn't work. He hung up. But the point of the matter is I didn't take it personal. And, 5 calls later, I got someone on the phone and they were open to talking to me.
Absolutely.
So that's all it is. It's definitely a numbers game. So let's get back into some of your lead generation now. Something you said earlier, and you said, how do we have to work twice as hard to generate these leads? So what do you mean by that?
Well, and I guess I want to make a distinction between, people always talk about working smarter, not harder. And what I actually mean is, it's about working not even smarter, it's about working right. At this point in the industry, there is absolute, bar none, incontrovertible evidence that certain activities done at scale are the best activities in order for you to convert leads at the highest level. So for me, it's not necessarily that hard to call a lead within 5 minutes or less. It's not that hard to make 10 additional phone call attempts over 21 days, do like a 21 days a gain, send 4 text messages. It's not that hard to set to-dos and follow up with leads more than 90 days out. What's really hard, and what I think we struggle with the most as an industry, is the consistency. It's easy to do those things for a short period of time, and then, like many folks in the industry, will get busy and full up with deals, and then the lead generation, the prospecting takes a back burner. And the most successful teams that I work with, for instance, I work with a team out of Vancouver, Canada, I think he's the number 5 Remax agent in Canada, a guy named Bill Laidler. They're going to do $120 million this year in sales with a team of 5.
Wow. That's impressive.
And the reason that they're able to do that is that they are laser-like focused, no matter what, day in, day out, in making their prospecting calls in the morning for 3 hours minimum. In addition to that, they have a really robust door knocking operation that they do. So basically, their team standard is if they don't have appointments in the afternoon, they're out door knocking.
You are listening to One More Sale.
I want to talk to you about hiring you. So let's say we decided to hire, and we haven't even got into the coaching yet, which we're going to get into. Is it like an hourly thing? Do we have to hire? Is it like a at call? Like if a lead comes in, someone follows up on that lead and charges just for that call, or do we hire you for a certain amount of hours? What does that look like?
Yeah, so our pricing is based on the number of leads that you're getting at Rockerbox. So if you hire Rockerbox to convert your online real estate leads, we do it based on the number of leads that you're getting into the system. And the reality is, because we have the factors of production that we're doing it at scale in a call center environment, we're actually about a third the cost of an in-house ISA. Plus, you don't have to manage the person. You don't have to hire and train anybody. You don't have to hold those folks accountable. You don't have to worry about, if Bob calls in sick on a particular day.
You don't have to worry about payroll, right? As another tip.
Right. I mean, our entry-level pricing plan starts at up to 200 leads per month. So 200 new registrations, and that can be like Zillow leads, Realtor.com leads, Google AdWords leads, Facebook leads, home valuation leads. I mean, we can pretty much handle any online traffic. The one caveat, though, is, we are exclusive to the Boomtown platform at this point in time.
Got it.
So the team owner would have to have Boomtown to work with us over at Rockerbox.
So what's the cost if someone wanted to hire you for 200 leads? What would they pay?
That would start at only $2,000 per month.
Okay, got it. Okay, cool. And out of those 200, what can they expect for conversion? Would that be six of them, or?
Yeah, that's a really, really good question, David. So ideally, what we're trying to do is identify, through all of our different filters and the nets that we have basically laid out there through all of these prospecting conversion activities, our goal is to identify 10 to 15% of your raw internet leads as an opportunity. And so an opportunity for us is somebody that we've identified they're looking to ideally buy within the next 90 days. Talk to them about whether or not they have a home that they need to sell, so whether there's a listing opportunity there. We've talked to them about getting pre-approved for a mortgage. We've identified they haven't signed paperwork with another agent, and that they're open to talking to somebody on the team. So we're basically taking these 200 registrations and culling them down into 20 or 30 opportunities that meet that standard. And then from there, ideally, the team is going to get, 6 or 7 of those folks across the finish line.
Now, do you incubate those as well? Like, some of them maybe A, B, C buyer, 90 days out, whatever. Are you guys handling that process, or do you give them to the agent and the agent's responsible?
No, we handle your C buyers. We want to give the agents the A buyers and the B buyers.
Okay.
Because frankly, David, that's who the agents are going to be focused on anyway.
Perfect.
So we do all of the long-term nurturing of folks that are, maybe they're still on a lease and they're not going to be able to buy for another 12 months. We'll continue to do all the long-term follow-up with them so that we can stay in touch with them, because we feel like we're just more consistent at it than the average real estate agent is.
That's amazing. So it's like hiring an ISA team, right? That's always on, and it's like what, $10 an hour or something, $12 an hour if you break it down. I mean, $24,000 a year.
Yeah, for 80 hours a week.
We can't even hire people for that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think our minimum wage is higher than that now.
Right, and the other thing to remember is that we're working 80 hours a week, 7 days a week. So a lot of coverage.
Yeah, that's awesome, my friend. Let's jump into your coaching a little bit. I'd love to hear a little bit about your coaching, and then we're going to get wrapping up.
Perfect.
So tell us a little about your coaching. Why would we want to go to you for coaching?
My coaching practice is something that's near and dear to my heart. I actually really love the idea of coaching because I feel like it makes me better. If I'm going out and talking to a team owner about how they can grow and scale their business, it in turn helps me become an expert at what I'm doing in my own practice. It's like the old saying, iron sharpens iron. And so I really have a big focus within my practice on working with folks that are looking to really hit the prospecting pedal, hit it hard, and grow out prospecting-based organizations. I take, for example, Tom Daves, who is one of the top Keller Williams agents here in the country. When he first started out with me, his team was doing about $40 million in production. This past year, they'll do about $140 million, and that's in 2 years of coaching with me.
It's amazing.
The way that he was able to have that growth is by really building out a prospecting-based organization within his business. And obviously, I'm not going to take full credit for it. He's a really sharp guy that did a lot of things right. Those are the kinds of things that I want to help my clients achieve by really redoubling their focus on prospecting and lead generation and lead conversion.
So the coaching with you is it a weekly, like an accountability call, and you discuss strategies, and is that how it works?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a weekly call. Would be working with either myself or one of my coaches is a guy named Dale Archdeacon, who works with a Global Living team. Again, a number 3 or 4 Keller Williams team in the country. He's their director of lead generation. And then Tim Laidler, who runs the lead generation department of that team in Vancouver that I was talking about earlier. He's also one of the coaches on our program. So again, these are all folks that are not just saying they know about prospecting. We all have lived, breathed, and slept prospecting-based environments within high-producing real estate teams, because I think it is important when you are coaching somebody to be coaching them on something that you've actually experienced and really have run the traps on yourself. So I think that's an important distinction with our practice. Everybody's done it before.
Agreed. Yeah, you should definitely have somebody that at least knows prospecting.
Right.
What's the biggest challenge right now, Sam, for people that are listening to this, that are thinking about adding prospecting, lead generation, correct lead generation to their business?
I think, David, it's probably the same problem that you would imagine. It's a simple one, but that doesn't mean it's an easy one. It's people not time blocking and being purposeful about their prospecting. It's one of those things where a lot of organizations fall into the trap of wanting to prospect and knowing that they should prospect, and then sitting down to do their prospecting time and then doing some emails and going on Facebook and checking the sports scores, right? And not sitting down and hitting the phones with purpose. Same thing, it's also not honoring that time block in, something came up, I got busy, I wasn't able to do it today. Prospecting is one of those things that so many teams don't really intrinsically understand how truly important it is. So it's one of those things that's easy to sideline. And really what they're doing is they're robbing themselves of their future success. So that's the biggest issue that I see with almost every real estate organization that's struggling with how to gain traction with their prospecting.
Yeah, and I'm going to add too, I mean, when it comes to that, and I can relate to it, I've done it myself many times, is it's almost a mindset issue. Right? So it's like, I mean, we can do another whole podcast episode just on when you set a goal and then you show up and you don't achieve your goal because you're goofing around doing other stuff. Hey, simple solution: go out and hire a Rockerbox or hire Sam, and they'll take care of it for you, right? I mean, that's the simple, short solution. So, Sam, what questions did I not ask that I probably should have asked?
I don't necessarily think that there's any question that you didn't ask that you should have asked. I would like to, while I've got you here, do a subtle plug for myself. I have a book coming out in I believe it's February. It's called Conversion Secrets. It's basically an analysis, a study of everything that we've learned over at Rockerbox. And just to kind of put it in context, we've handled 250,000 internet leads over at Rockerbox over the past couple of years. So we've learned a lot. So basically, we put together a book called Conversion Secrets about everything that we've done. We actually give anybody that wants to go do it themselves the exact recipe and the exact formula that we use to scale internet lead conversion at Rockerbox so that, you could go do it yourself if you wanted to just by reading the book. That'll be coming out, and pretty excited about that, and think that it'll be a pretty eye-opening read for a lot of folks who are interested in learning that the conventional wisdom has dramatically shifted when it comes to online leads.
Love it. Love it. I can't wait to get my copy, my friend. And yeah, hey, you can give it to them, but are they going to do it? That's the other question. That's the magic question. So what's the one thing, Sam, for our listeners on this interview, I mean, what is the one thing you want them to take on their path to sales mastery?
I think the number one thing that I want you guys to take on the path to sales mastery is set a goal. And it doesn't even have to be a huge goal. If you're not doing prospecting every single day right now, start out doing an hour. Start out committing to a 30-day goal, doing prospecting every single day for an hour, and see how much it transforms your business. Just in doing it for 1 month, see how much it transforms the listings that you've taken and the activities of your team, and really setting an example within your organization, and build off those successes and really build prospecting as a habit and a part of your business, because it's the ultimate recipe for success in this real estate game.
Brilliant, my friend. Absolutely brilliant. Tell us how we can get in touch with you.
Yeah, so the easiest way to get in touch with me is sam@sammonreal.com. So that's SAMMONREAL.com. And you can either shoot me a text and call me, 512-426-7914. I love talking to people on the phone. I love talking to real estate professionals. It gives me a buzz.
Thank you, my friend. You rock.
All right. Thanks, David.
Hey, Masters, you guys know how important health and nutrition is to me. I just want to talk to you a little bit about products I use called AdvoCare. I've been using these products for about a year and a half now, mostly just for energy. They've got a really awesome drink. It's called Spark. If you want to check out anything, I would tell you, go check out the energy drink Spark. That's what I did for, like I said, almost a year and a half without even trying any of their other products. And then this past January, a bunch of us, January 4th, decided we were going to do the 24-day challenge, which is a 10-day cleanse and then 14 days of just really healthy eating, vitamins, meal replacement, just awesome 24 days just to kind of get yourself on track and get into some right habits. So Richie Ryan did it with us. Guys, he lost, today's February 5th. I think he's at 24 pounds lost since January 4th. Melissa at our office lost 6 pounds. Min at our office lost 5 pounds. Guys, I mean, listen, it's amazing. Regardless, if your goal is losing weight, my goal wasn't losing weight. I did the challenge just so I could experience it. And, I lost a few pounds, but now I put some weight back on because I started using some of the supplements and the protein powder and all the other stuff. So now I've gained about 3 pounds of muscle and just feel awesome. My energy's through the roof. So whether you're looking for energy or you're looking for just wellness, I mean, they've got some amazing green products that I love taking before I go to bed. Or if you're looking for performance, athletic products, we've got the athletic performance products. And then just active, if you're an active adult, maybe getting a little older in the age and you want to just keep everything working the right way and functioning. Listen, Gary Keller said it best. If you don't take care of your body, where are you gonna live? And I just love that. So, hey, I just ask you to check out AdvoCare's products. I'm a distributor, so I'd love to help you, talk to you about your nutrition and health goals. You go to livelongersmarter.com, livelongersmarter.com.
You are for listening to One More Sale with your host, David I. Hill, author of the Sales Playbook. Get your copy at www.thesalesplaybook.net.